Hello. I thought this was kind of interesting. We could watch together. This is coming from Smash JT. If you want to check out his channel, I watch this guy a lot. He has pretty good content in my opinion. But I thought the Sega prices, because they don't share their data too much, and it got leaked, so we get to see the numbers in sales. So let's check it out.
Talk about leaks that get redacted from companies because of copyright, not copyright strikes, but strikes for whatever reason on YouTube that they decide to use because they don't want people talking about it. But this information was accidentally published by Sega. So they did it themselves. They put it out there. And as someone who has a vested in
Accident. Keep that in mind. It was an accident. Why they don't want us to know, who knows? Who knows? But it was definitely an accident.
interest in the gaming industry, I do feel like it's my duty to report this information to you guys. And if it gets my channel taken down for doing that, well, damn it, I feel like there are bigger problems in this world than that.
I'm kind of afraid to even react to someone doing a video on it because Sega's pretty protective on their stuff, but the info's already out there. Like, there's not much they could do. They could still strike a channel, maybe. I'm not sure. I'm not a lawyer or work for YouTube, so it's just a risk we gotta take, you know.
But anyways, let me zoom in on this tiny writing here. Sega accidentally makes sales data public for 11 major games. And this comes to us from Mike Straw on Insider Gaming. And they said, it appears that someone at Sega forgot how to properly redact data from a PDF, making sales data for 11 major games publicly available. In a presentation document for its annual management meeting, Sega attempted to block out years of sales data for a number of its games. Instead, however, the company simply put a gray overlay on top of the data without preventing the information from being accessed.
That is crazy.
Press X if you feel like it was a DEI hire that put this together. This information includes sales numbers for a number of games over the last 6 fiscal years, including 3 Sonic titles, 2 Like a Dragon games, and more. Key takeaways from the sales data, which you can see for yourself below, are that Persona 5 Royal continues to be a major seller for the company, selling 7.2.
Wait a minute. Okay, never mind. I was gonna try to take an educated guess of what the sales might be, but I'm already seeing some numbers right here, so never mind.
2.5 million copies over the last 6 years. And that there's still a demand from players for Sonic games like Sonic Frontiers, which has 4.57 million. And
that's a good game, by the way. If you haven't played that, you should check it out. Buy it on sale or something. It's pretty good. I have it on Steam.
And Sonic Superstars, which is 2.43 million, have both sold well since their respective launches. And I got to be honest, when I saw these sales numbers, they were way higher, like across the board, than I was expecting them to be.
Really?
Maybe not for the Persona one, but that was still higher. Maybe not way higher, but higher.
People like Sonic, though.
So this was, before I even show it, this was the presentation that's being referenced here. And it talks to the investors' targeted earnings base and image of profit. And then right here, full game unit sales of major IPs, stably launched titles utilizing major IP. This is where it was listed, and it has now been updated saying some content is currently under adjustment. And then they move on to the other stuff in the presentation. But right here is where it was initially located. And then we go over to install base, which is where I first found the information. And they said Sega leaked 6 years of sales numbers.
6 years of sales numbers, guys. That is kind of insane. I can't believe that happened, to be honest, dude. Uh, I bet a lot of people, well, I know a lot of people have been curious, so. And man, it sucks for them if they didn't want that info released, but, I mean, who cares? I mean, they shouldn't care as much as they do, honestly.
For Sonic, Persona, SMT, Like a Dragon, and Total War. This comes from page 25 and the link here. SEGA failed to properly redact the file. And we got Persona 5 Royal, including remastered version.
Yeah, check this out. 2020, over 1 million. 21, 700,000. 22, 350,000. And then when it hits all consoles, the sales jumps up. So it just shows that multi-platform is the way to go. So this whole exclusive stuff is kind of insane.
Fiscal year 20 sold 1,030,000 copies. Second year, a very respectable 700,000 copies. In the second year, getting 3/4 of what you sold the first year is impressive. Now, this is, remember, units sold, not how much money they made from it. Typically,
Units
as we all
sold.
know, games that are out for a few months, especially if you're like Ubisoft or in this case Sega, games typically go on sale, sometimes substantially, even a year afterwards. So you could theoretically have the same amount of sales and make half the amount of revenue or less than that, depending on what the sales were. But still, a unit sold is still a unit sold. And this is over 2 million units of Persona 5 sold in the first 3 fiscal years is an incredible number. But then you get to fiscal year 23 and you're like, holy crap. Okay, so this one clearly includes re-releases or multi-platform or massive sales. And same for fiscal year 24, fiscal year 25. Insane amount of sales volume for Persona 5 Royal.
I'm pretty sure that's because of multi-platform. It was Persona 5. We could probably look that up real quick. When did Persona 5 go multi-platform? Went multi-platform October 21st, 2022. Switch, PlayStation, PS5, Windows, Xbox One, Xbox Series X. It was initially exclusive to the PS3 and PS4, 2016 and 2017. Okay.
To have 7.25 million total sales. These are numbers that very rarely get out there to the public for people to actually see and talk about. And you actually wonder why that is. We were talking about this earlier on SNH, and I am of the opinion of the reason why companies don't want to show these kind of numbers is because they don't want their next games to come out and people ask what the sales numbers are for those and find out they sold less, because then it's deemed a failure compared to the original
look at that stuff.
Game that was sold before it. Moving on, we got Sonic Frontiers with a total of 4.57 million units.
Damn.
Sonic Team Racing, 3.5 million. Like, these are a lot of copies of a game being sold. Now,
Sega's doing good. They've always done good. They have to be doing good because you know what? They have DRM on all of their games, and a lot of people don't realize that's not cheap to have on your games. Maybe they have some sort of deal with Duenovo, or however you say it, DRM. Maybe they have a deal, like a package deal, since they always have it. Maybe they pay a little bit less, but they're still paying money each month to have that on their games. And to be able to do that, you have to have good sales. And it shows right here, they have good sales.
Team Sonic Racing, that was a game that, if I recall correctly, that was also available on not just Steam.
I want to try Sonic Racing. I don't know if I want to try the old one, but the new one I'm definitely getting. Let me know in the comments if you want to try the new Sonic Racing game coming out.
Steam and console, but also iOS. And there were a lot of people that played Sonic Team Racing on their iPads. Total War, Three Kingdoms, that is a crap ton more sales than I would have expected. 3.2 million. Yakuza, Like a Dragon, 2.86 million. Sonic Superstars, 2.4. Total War, Warhammer 3, 2.3. Shin Megami Tensei 5, including Vengeance, 2.1. Persona 3 Reload, over 2 million. Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, 1.6. Like a Dragon Gaiden, the man who erased his name, almost 1 million. So insane.
That's crazy. That ain't even break a million. Like a Dragon Gaiden. I have not played all these games. Still need to play some of these. I played Frontiers. I played Persona 5, which I can't get into the Persona games for some reason. I've tried numerous times. I could get into the Like a Dragon games. Okay, I got the new pirate one, which I liked. It's fun just to go around and beat up people. It's pretty straightforward, and I like that.
Insane amount of sales volumes for a lot of games that, like I said, I can see it coming from Persona 5. Makes sense. Sonic Frontiers was a bit of a surprise. I would have thought that would be more closer to like 2 million. So 4.5 is blowing that out of the water. I actually would have thought Sonic Team Racing would have been above Sonic Frontiers. So that is surprising to me that it has 3.5. I would have thought this would have had the 4.5 million sales on it. And everything else kind of falls in line. But again, like I said earlier, higher across the board than I would have expected. For
this is, I don't know why it's surprising him. Sega's a household name. People, there's a lot of Sega, I say fanboys, but I don't mean that in a derogatory way. I love Sega. So, and I know a lot of people do. So to me, these numbers are not surprising. Do they surprise you? They don't me. I don't know why they surprise him. It's
a company
weird.
like Sega that does still put out games that sell in the millions consistently.
They're good games.
Which is impressive.
Sega rarely has a
Back to
flop.
the Insider Gaming article. So everything that I covered, basically, with the sales of these games, and I got to be honest, like I said, higher than I expected it to be, but at the same time, I would have liked to see more leaked out of this. It was only up through fiscal year 2025, and it wasn't even, as far as I understand, the entire fiscal year 2025. I would have loved to see Pirate Yakuza
I will take
numbers.
what we could get. Smash.
I'd be very curious to find out what those would look like relative to Yakuza Like a Dragon, because looking at the sales of this
I
one,
just remembered,
fiscal year 2020 when it first launched,
a Virtua Fighter
I
game
would
coming
think
out?
Like a
Is that
Dragon
from Sega?
would undersell Pirate
Forgot
Yakuza
about
by
that.
a tremendous amount, because from what I've seen,
I'm gonna look that up real quick before I forget. I know I'll forget. Virtua Fighter. Virtual Fighter. What is? It came out. Wait, is this the new one? Takes the gameplay of Virtua Fighter 5 and raises it to new levels. Roll back, not close. Is this the new one? Is this a brand new fighting game? There's nobody playing it. I'm so confused. Why does it only have... What? Where have I been? I don't know. Huh, okay. I'm gonna have to look at that later.
Pirate Yakuza had a...
Oh, shit. Oh, shit.
I've been very hesitant. I can see it coming from Persona 5. Makes sense. Sonic Frontiers was a bit of a surprise. A company like Sega that does still put out games that be more leaked out of this. It was only up through fiscal year 2025, and it wasn't even, as far as I understand, the entire fiscal year 2025. I would have loved to see Pirate Yakuza numbers. I'd be very curious to find out what those would look like relative to Yakuza Like a Dragon, because looking at the sales of this one, fiscal year 2020 when it first launched, I would think Like a Dragon would undersell Pirate Yakuza by a tremendous amount. Because from what I've seen, Pirate Yakuza had a massive, massive focus when it was coming out. People were like, oh, this reminds me of Black Flag from Assassin's Creed and Ubisoft, except like new updated graphics and a more like interesting and intricate storyline that's on a paradise island. And I saw so many people talking about it, and that's one of those games I really wanted to find out what the numbers were and that relative to what was sold before. But like I said, that's why they don't give the numbers out, because if they did, then people would be able to compare them and contrast them. And they want to be able to control the narrative, not be transparent, tell you less, and don't get this information out there. But once it gets out there, the cat's out of the bag.
I mean, we could take good estimates. I cannot talk. We could take a good estimate of what the numbers might be. Pirate Yakuza. So it has 4,500 reviews. Okay, so
and this is something that you rarely ever see from a video game company, and kind of like catch them in the buff, like, oh, dang, we actually see the actual numbers here, and we can base not just what Sega is doing with these numbers on their games, but also what other companies are doing based off of what Sega's games are too. So curious stuff that got leaked out by someone that clearly had no idea what the hell they were doing. And it's crazy to me, going back to the PowerPoint presentation, like how you could possibly screw up the most important part is insane to me, because nothing gets by gamers. Nothing. Like if you put this out there for investors, there's going to be a gamer that looks for it, finds it, and tries to open up what you had underneath it, and they'll find it. So anyways, I'll leave that one there. This originally I saw from Grum's first, and then I saw a bunch of other people talking about it, but we'll start with the Grum's one.
If you use a medium
Grum's on
multiplier,
X. If Splitgate 2 had not apologized, it would have resulted in a swell of gamers' support, giving them time and funds to update the game and fix issues.
There's usually
now they're doing layoffs
of people
because gamers were
and so we kind of concentrate, or not concentrate, but we kind of look at that, and it gives us a different, decent average. You know, that's not a certain, like we don't know for sure, but it's a good guesstimate. That's all you lost.
I've been very hesitant to them, and they want to be able to control the narrative. We actually see the actual numbers here, and we can base not just what Sega is doing with these numbers on their games, but also what other companies are doing based off of what Sega's games are too. So curious stuff that got leaked out by someone that clearly had no idea what the hell they were doing. And it's crazy to me, going back to the PowerPoint presentation, like how you could possibly screw up the most important part is insane to me, because nothing gets by gamers.
Hey man, accidents happen, but yeah. That's about it for the video. Just thought it was interesting and wanted to share. Give a shout out to Smash JT. If you're not following him, you should go subscribe. He has over 100,000 subs. I am nothing compared to him. I only have 140 maybe, but I'm just now starting. And I'm trying to get good at this YouTube stuff, so if the video is really bad, I do apologize. I'm trying to get used to editing and all that stuff, and just having fun with it, you know. But if you're feeling generous, you know, you drop a like on my video if you want or something. I do appreciate it. Gives me motivation to even do this in the first place. And I stream live almost every night. I play tons of different games. Sometimes I get in a really silly mood and crack jokes and poke fun at people, you know.